Welcome to Get in the Ring with DJ D Coops and B Smut on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. It is Get in the Ring on the Social Suplex Podcasting Network. We have our own feed. You can find us on Get in the Ring on iTunes, Spotify, all that great podcast stuff. Google Podcasts, Spreaker. What else is there? Stitcher. All those great podcasting platforms. Yeah, you can find us on that. On the Social Suplex feed or on the Get in the Ring feed.
And
with us.
Hey, how's everyone doing? So it's obviously, expansion. Expansion is a beautiful thing. So it's awesome that we've been able to take what we started a few years ago, and it's continuing to evolve. It's continuing to progress, and more success is hopefully to come.
Yes, it is hopefully more success to come, but we have to start with some sad, incredibly tragic news in the world of the NBA, in the world of sports, in the world of life. Kobe Bryant and his daughter and 7 other souls lost in that helicopter crash in Calabasas, California on Sunday.
Yeah, it basically made the world stand still, and the world is, I think, just now kind of starting to get back to normal, I would say.
Yeah.
Most NBA teams have kind of done their tributes. Most people in the media, most of people that knew Kobe and that knew everyone else for that matter, have are kind of starting to get back to some sort of normalcy. I'm guessing, most people have done their. For example, I love the Spurs and Raptors tribute. They were the first to do this. They were the first to do the dual 24 seconds shot clock violations to start the game. Obviously, 24 being Kobe's second number in the NBA during his 20-year career. And there were other instances. Yeah, the Trae Young tributes. Many players have worn 24 or 8 on their sneakers. Some players have now changed.
8-second violations.
Yeah, the 8-second violations. Some teams have done the 8 and 8-second violations because that was Kobe's first number. People have done the 24 and 8. Philadelphia had the Sixers game against the a couple days ago. They had the 9 spotlights on the court plus the Lower Merion jersey. That was Kobe's high school number 33 when he played in Lower Merion, which is just outside the city for those who don't know about it.
Yeah, it's right outside where I am. I live in Lower Merion Township. I live in Bryn Mawr.
You actually shared a picture about
the scene was incredibly solemn. I shared a picture on my Instagram. You can follow me at DJ D Kooks. No, not DJ D Kooks. D Kooky Punk 43. DKOOKY Punk 43. A picture of Kobe and his daughter, of course, and the memorial outside his gymnasium at Lower Merion High School. It was a very solemn scene. There was about 20-25 people there on Monday. I went on Monday. Said Our Father and a Hail Mary. God bless Gianna and Kobe. Rest in peace. It was surreal just standing there.
Yeah, and I can imagine. We saw the aftermath at Staples Center, where there were
Kings.
pounds, and I love what the Kings did. I thought that was great. I think that was the first event that happened after. I mean, the
Sporting
Grammys.
event.
It was also what the Grammys did, like Alicia Keys and Boyz II Men. They did their performance, which I thought was great. Saying it was so hard to say, singing it was so hard to say goodbye, which I thought was great. And then the Kings is the first athletic event since the passing, since the helicopter crash, with the 8 and
And the
24
Lakers
on
are
the
playing
Avalanche.
tonight.
The Lakers are playing. Yeah, obviously that's going to be a major event. They just practiced yesterday, and they're going to be playing tonight. That's as NBA players are showing their love. I love what TNT did with the everyone that with the crew plus some players that played with Kobe and against him on Tuesday night instead of the Lakers Clippers game, which got called off. I thought that was great. The Clippers with 8 and 24 warm-up jerseys. I'm watching the video as we speak before their game. So I thought that was it's a really nice touch. The Clippers are playing tonight at 10:30, so they're going to be actually at Staples. So they're going to have something special planned for Kobe, I'm sure. But yeah, it's been world spread. Everyone's kind of paid their respects in some sort of way, kind of shared some pictures and some memories, things like that. I was in the building for Kobe's last couple games at Wells Fargo Center, especially the last one, and the last one was a love fest. It was so much love. Sixer fans, Laker fans, basketball fans in general, quite honestly. Whenever Kobe touched the ball, it was a loud ovation. He got a huge roar. That building was incredibly loud for Wells Fargo Center when Kobe, his last game, whenever he scored a basket, it was a big deal. Like the crowd went nuts. It was a special evening
And
to see
ESPN
Kobe.
replayed on Tuesday night after the Connecticut women's
Yes,
game, the last Kobe Bryant game
when he gave
against the
60 to
Jazz.
Utah. When he dropped 60 on Utah in his last game, right? I remember watching that as it happened. That was a special game, even then. Yeah. So the Lakers are going to actually be on ESPN tomorrow night against Portland. That's actually a good game, number one, because you got some All Stars and obviously LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Damian Lillard.
They
And
announced the All-Stars, which we'll get to.
it's the first Laker home game since the passing, so obviously it hits the Lakers harder than everyone else. We've seen the Mavericks. Mark Cuban's tribute is retiring number 24 permanently from the Dallas Mavericks. So, which we've seen this happen before. Number 13 in Miami and 23 in Miami got retired. Obviously, this is in honor of Michael Jordan. So we've seen this before. That a team will retire a number that's got nothing to do with a player that actually played on their team. So, and some players have changed their jersey numbers. I mentioned Spencer Dinwiddie before, changed to 26. And for example, I saw Alex Ovechkin wear 24. He wears number 8 normally in hockey for the Capitals. He wore 24 in warm-ups, and then he's going to auction the jersey later on, which I thought was a really nice tribute to Kobe. It's been that kind of week. And I think I would imagine
The funeral week is going to be.
it's going to be insane. That's going to be rough for a lot of people. And what makes this worse, we didn't get a chance to hear the Hall of Fame speech. This year would have been the greatest NBA Hall of Fame class we've ever seen. With Kobe, Tim Duncan, and Kevin Garnett. We're talking 11 rings.
And we already know Kobe's going in because
All
made
three
that
of
announcement right
them were
away.
first ballots. Yeah, all three of them were we knew that was going to happen.
They,
All three.
they made that announcement. The Basketball Hall of Fame made that announcement right after he died.
Yeah, now because we knew So it's a shame that his is going to be a postmortem. And people know me as a Spurs fan. All the battles that the Spurs and Lakers had, especially in the early 2000s, with Kobe and Shaq and the Lakers, and then Duncan and Parker and Ginobili when the latter three were on the come up, and Shaq was unstoppable and Kobe was on the come up, and how special those games were. So those were must see games. And obviously he was a rival, but a guy obviously had to respect so much. And I absolutely do plan on trying to go. I'll try to go to the Hall of Fame in Springfield. I was gonna go especially to try for Duncan because he's my favorite player in NBA history. My favorite's Tim Duncan, but that's gonna be emotional to see everything that's gonna happen with Kobe. And he obviously would have gone last, and I would have been okay with him going last as opposed to Duncan because Kobe's impact is greater than just basketball. It's not just ball. Like, Kobe's impact is everywhere. You notice him with everywhere. He's as mainstream as it gets. And it's a shame he probably won't go last because of this. But it's going to be another way to honor him once he truly gets inducted. It's just a shame he won't be able to induct it himself.
Right.
Even worse, his daughter Gia could ball. That's the other part about this. When Gia apparently was going to go to Connecticut, and she could hoop. They were on their way to the Mamba basketball tournament, basketball games. It was why they were in the helicopter in the first place. And she could hoop. And that's gonna suck. That's the other part that really sucks about this. And the fact that she was only 13, and Kobe was like, just wait till you see her. Like, she was gonna ball out apparently. And
he was bragging. he was bragging about her. He was. Everyone was like, Kobe should have a boy. Kobe should have a boy. And like, she was like, nah. I'm gonna carry on the legacy.
I got this. Kobe was like, just wait till you see Gia. She can hoop. And it looked like she actually could. Connecticut. It looked like apparently she was gonna go to Connecticut, and they had the tribute for her at their previous game, which I thought was a really nice look. So right, so. That's what makes this just as rough. Obviously, our condolences to the other 7 as well. But yeah, the Kobe and Gia's passing has really hit everyone hard. And whether they're Laker fans, basketball fans in general, rival basketball fans, I know the Celtics did a tribute for Kobe tonight. It's rough. It's rough for everybody to deal with, and it kind of puts a damper on Super Bowl week in the most extreme of ways. But it's rough for everybody.
So we will review the week that was in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start with some of the news items. Just breaking. World Wrestling Entertainment not doing so hot in the stocks.
No.
After Hour stocks is at 48.38. Dropping at a low at 22.64%. George Barrios and Michelle Wilson are out, leaving WWE. Variety had the story here. Vince commented on the story saying McMahon said the shakeup was sparked by conflicting strategic visions for the company.
It's bold that it happened, 2 hours ago. So that's what makes this rather bold. And
Frank A. Riddick, who's been a WWE board member for 11 years, has been named Chief Interim Financial Officer and will be reporting to WWE Chairman and CEO Vince McMahon. And they'll be beginning a search for Chief Financial Officer and Chief Revenue Officer, which were Barrios and Wilson's roles. McMahon said the shakeup was sparked by conflicting strategic visions for the company. WWE has seen its stock price fall sharply in the recent months amid concerns about soft ratings for its flagship TV shows and rising competition from upstart wrestling organizations like All Elite Wrestling.
Which AEW, I believe, has another 100,000 people more than WWE did. I saw it was like 110,000 this week. Like AEW, I think at 831,000. The WWE 721 or something like that.
What was the demo number?
No, that was I didn't see the demo.
The demo number matters more. The demo number matters more in case of TV rankings.
I can look that up for
the demo number. The 18 to 49 demo number matters more in terms of, I know you don't know this because you're not an expert on TV ratings.
I'm not. And
I don't expect you to
be. I'm not big time into that. That is true. I'm not crazy.
The 18 to 49 demo is what the ranking is based on, not the total scores.
Looks like this week.
I can look it up,
Looks like they have it. Looks like I got something here. AEW tops, despite drawing less viewership so far this year. Let's see. This is as of this is up to date. This is on Wrestling Inc. So it looks like I found something here. Wednesday's Dynamite episodes 828,000 to NXT 712 at 16%. AEW was third in the cable's top 150. This is what you're thinking of. AEW ranked third on cable's top 150 for the 18 to 49 demo, while NXT was 37. AEW was 35th in the viewership, while NXT was 41st, and that's tied with the Daily Show. NXT did.
Right.
Last week, Dynamite was 871,000, which was 8th in the cable top 150 and 40th, as opposed to NXT was 769 and 35th in the top 150th and 42nd in viewership. So that's what you're thinking of.
0.34 to 0.22.
Yes, that's the other part of this. The 0.34 rating for AEW and the 0.22 for NXT.
Yes, those are the numbers that do matter.
And which was slightly down from the previous week, which was 0.35 for AEW, and WWE's was slightly down to 0.24. So both shows were slightly down.
And some interesting business news out of Japan. Here's the biggest story concerns the state of pro wrestling. It's now under new management as a subsidiary of Cyber Agent Incorporated, with the news first reported by Tokyo Sports. Just last year, 75% of the company has been sold to Lidit from Etsby. Litigated Cyber Agent has acquired 100% ownership of Noah. Cyber Agent is a publicly traded blah 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 blah. Cyber Agent purchased another wrestling company by the name of DDT, which is another major wrestling company in Japan. A press release was issued in regarding to the cyber acquisition by Cyber Agent with the following from Sanshiro Takagi. DDT Pro Wrestling and Pro Wrestling Noah will be working together under Cyber Agent Inc. going forward. By partnering by the same Cyber Agent group, I believe we will be able to bring about a new scenery in the pro wrestling industry. Going forward, the two promotions will be sharing a mid-back office functions as companies within the same office group. I, Sanshiro Takagi, will be assuming the position as both president of companies, but at Pro Wrestling Noah, I will focus on managing the company and will leave the in-ring completely to the talent of staff at Pro Wrestling Noah. So he won't be doing any in-ring. Pro Wrestling will continue to be fun, exciting, and absurd, dramatic stories to the fans. We hope you'll be continuing your support for both promotions. DDT Pro English translated Wednesday's press conference. Takagi will be president of DDT and Noah, while Naomichi Marufuji is the executive vice president of Noah. Longtime wrestler of Noah. Takagi is designated to work on the business and leave the creative day-to-day to Marufuji and former Noah president Hiro Takeda. It was Takagi who got the ball rolling after Noah's finances were hit and approached Susumu Fujita about saving, with Takagi and Takeda beginning to speak in November. Noah's relation with Lidit, the previous owners, will continue, with the group staying on as a corporate sponsor. Noah will be running a free show on Thursday on DDT Universe, which is their streaming service, on the first time. And Noah will be linked to a streaming service on several shows airing on YouTube over the past year. The plan is for DDT Universe to carry 1 to 2 Noah shows per month, they've already added a Noah section to their service. They also announced that DDT and Noah will be running back-to-back nights at Sumo Hall on November 21st and 22nd. Noah will still be featured on Samurai TV and G Plus, and will start streaming on Abema TV in February. So that was the big news out of Japan, and this sort of ruins WWE's plans for NXT Japan.
Well played, Counter-Strike. Well played by both
Cyber
promotions
Agent.
to collabo and kind of shut that down. Well played, Counter-Strike. Impressed.
Because WWE's only player now in that, because Dragon Gate won't budge in that. New Japan's not an option.
Nope, yep.
Is Big Japan. Oof.
That doesn't sound like it's a good idea.
No. A deathmatch organization.
And considering that WWE's still very PG, that's not going to fly over with WWE and trying to influence for the kids to watch this. So they got to fall back and kind of just revive the strategy and do something different, clearly.
Yep.
So that's the business angle this
week. Q4 and end of year end calls next week for WWE, by the way, for the George Barrios, Michelle Wilson. McMahon said, back to the Barrios. Sorry, I got sidetracked. I would like to thank George and Michelle for their 10-plus years service and their contributions to the organization. I am grateful for all that was accomplished during their tenure, but the board and I decided a change was necessary as we have different views on how best to achieve our strategic priorities going forward. A variety analysis in July 2019 found that ratings for WWE's two main shows, Monday Night Raw and Smackdown Live, has fallen around 20% compared to the beginning of 2018, which I'm looking at Brandon's analysis, and that's accurate because he has an industry report for TV ratings, and that's pretty accurate too.
So he's in tune with like the Nielsen ratings and all the
WrestleNomics, yeah.
All right, he's in tune with
I didn't get to look at his full report, but I think that would be accurate. Smackdown moved to Friday nights on Fox in October 2019, beginning the 5-year, the $1 billion deal.
$1 billion, right.
The first Fox show, the show doubled its audience in the adults 18 to 49. Nielsen same day ratings, blah blah blah, airing on the USA Network. That first Fox show had its special appearance from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and a championship match between Kobe Kingston
and Brock Lesnar.
Since then, the show's ratings have fallen in line to where they were on cable, the most recent episode earning a 0.7 rating and 2.5 million viewers over its 2-hour broadcast.
Now, yeah, that was to be expected that the first show, the premiere on Fox, was going to draw heavy numbers because, of course, WWE was going to go big. They were going to go heavy as they possibly could. They're trying to say, hey, this is SmackDown, this is Fox. We're going to make this premiere as big as it gets. We're getting The Rock, who's arguably the most mainstream star we've ever seen. You could argue him, you could argue Hogan, but Rock's maybe the most mainstream guy we've ever seen work for the company. Plus a championship match with the most mainstream current guy, Brock Lesnar. So, of course, they were going to have a signature. They're going to make that one big, and then everything else is going to fall back.
Another analysis conducted at the beginning of January found that AEW's Wednesday night show, Dynamite, also enjoys a solid ratings edge over NXT in live, same day, and delayed viewing. So, there.
And that's been consistent, too. That's been very consistent. Yes. Pretty much almost every week, that both shows have run legitimate shows, as opposed to like clip shows or whatever. AEW's pretty much won every week, so that's been a major. WWE's going to have to do some things to kind of switch that up. But I think at least with NXT, it's fixable. Raw and SmackDown's going to have some work to do, but it's fixable at the very least with AEW, with AEW and NXT.
SmackDown.
So SmackDown was the go-home show before they had the go-home show before the Royal Rumble, and it wasn't too bad. To me, like SmackDown wasn't so bad as opposed to the leading into the Rumble. I didn't think it was all that bad here. So here's how it went down. It started with Roman and the Usos versus King Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert Roode. Now it was Jey Uso starting it out, and actually Jimmy Uso got hurt. He got kind of shoved into the steel steps by Ziggler and got hurt and taken back. And Corbin and his crew did a very good job of kind of working the 3-on-2 hook and keeping both Jey Uso and Roman Reigns isolated from each other, which I thought was good. And it took Jimmy Uso had to return to kind of even the playing field, but even then it was still 3-on-2 because of what happened with his brother Jay. Roman and Corbin ended up fighting in the backstage into the crowd area, a prelude obviously to what happened later on in the week. And the Usos ended up beating Ziggler and Roode in what turned into a normal tag match. So it's a pretty good start to the show, I would say. Let's see. Cole interviewed Lacey Evans, and I can understand the emotional angle they were going here. A little bit sappy for me, but I understood why they went this route. With Lacey Evans giving Lacey Evans emotional questions for her to just be naturally emotional, which I think she was absolutely sincere. I'm not saying they were crocodile tears. I think she was 100% sincere. But I think they
I just don't believe her as a legitimate babyface.
She's better as a heel. She is certainly better as a heel. I'm not gonna disagree at all. She's absolutely better as a heel.
They just need to reverse the fucking roles.
Bayley's kind of believable as a face, but I think Bayley is much better believable as a heel, but absolutely believable as a face. Bayley's just a natural face, and Lacey I think is a natural heel. But so this turned into a massive brawl between the two, Bayley and Lacey, as they headed into the showdown at the Royal Rumble. And this brawl, it was effective and it continued. It kept going. It went all the way over around the arena, and it lasted even through what would have been Fire and Desire versus Nikki and Miss Bliss. And so that match never happened, and that turned into a 6-woman brawl. So there was no match. So I think they made the title match for SmackDown
Thank God.
very, very effective. Yeah. So there was no Otis involvement on SmackDown. There was a lot of involvement in the Royal Rumble. We'll talk about that
We'll
later.
get to that.
Let's see. So Braun and Elias versus Shinsuke and Cesaro. A decent match. Nothing too special here. Really, once Strowman got the hot tag, we knew the match was effectively over. Strowman basically cleaned house, did his thing. He hit the power slam on Cesaro, and then Elias hit his elbow drop for the pin. It was all right. Nothing special. You didn't really miss too much here. Morrison and Kofi Kingston. This match was good. This match was very entertaining. I'm glad this was the last match of the show. This was a good match. And both guys who are incredibly athletic, they pretty much are in each other's peer group. This was fun to watch. You saw both dudes do their thing all the way through the match. It closed with Kofi hitting the Trouble in Paradise on Miz. Morrison ended up catching him from behind and hitting with Starship Pain to finish. But this was a good match. This was a good match between the two. Very happy this was the last one before the Rumble. And the last piece of business was the contract signing with Daniel and Bray. And I like that they kind of tied in Daniel Bryan joining the Wyatt family and then turning on the Wyatt family. I like how they kind of tied that into this. I thought that was a good way to go about this. And then The Fiend would eventually come out and attack Daniel Bryan and eventually hit him with the Sister Abigail and the Mandible Claw, and then sign the contract willingly in his own blood, which I thought was very creepy, but that's what The Fiend is supposed to do. So I thought it was an effective way to finish the show, an effective way to set up their strap match of the Royal Rumble, and also The Fiend using the strap effectively as we'll get into the match itself. very effective there. I was cool with that. So good job. So SmackDown, I think, ended well and started well. Started well with a good 6 minute and ended well with the last 2 segments, I would say.
There was another pay-per-view on Friday night. NWA Hard Times. A lot of people saw this was happening, and I decided to check it out because I was a curious man. So, the question mark versus Trevor Murdoch in the TV title tournament match. These had the 6:05 time limit except for the final. These were all quarterfinal matches. Trevor Murdoch defeats the question mark in 3:10. Murdoch hit a top rope bulldog for the win. Fine opener with the shocking result here. Demont defeats Zicky Dice, a spear, cannonball, and senton for the win. Ricky Starks defeats Matt Cross. Matt Cross misses a shooting star press. And then Stark hits a Buster Keaton, and that's all. So Tim Storm arrives, and then Ricky Starks beats Matt Cross in a good 3-star match. Good little match. It was about 4 minutes. So Tim Storm arrives, and it's announced that Ken Anderson will not compete tonight. Storm praises the NWA family of fans, says he hates that Anderson isn't here to compete. He doesn't want the easy path, but if he gets the body, he'll take it. His goal is to make Mama Storm proud that he'll win the TV title. And Tim Storm defeats Ken Anderson via forfeit. So Stu Bennett thanks the venue for being a great host. At the next pay-per-view in April will take place. The Crockett Cup will take place at a bigger venue. Then it was the Rock and Roll Express with Wild Cards and Eli Drake and Tim Storm. Not Tim Storm, James Storm. There's many Storms in this company.
I can see that.
So Robert Gibson pulls Camille out and hits Drake with the gravy train on Morton, and we have new champions. And Eli Drake hits the gravy train on Morton, and we have new champions. Eli Drake and James Storm defeats the Rock and Roll Express, the champions, and the Wild Cards. The title change was expected, but not with Drake and Storm. I expected the Wild Cards to win this match.
Okay.
But the NWA Women's Title match. This was really good.
Okay.
Despite some rough edges, they had a hot crowd. This Thunder Rose versus Allison Kay. Really good counter striking. And really good high spots with a hot closing stretch. I really enjoyed this match. I gave this match 4 stars.
Okay.
Really good stuff. I say go back and watch this match because Thunder Rosa is really good. This stands out to me. Thunder Rosa would hit the Thunder Driver for the win in 1720. 4 stars. Melina and Marty arrive and celebrate with Rosa. And then Marty Skrull. As we know, Marty Skrull arrived at the last NWA pay-per-view and challenged Nick Aldis, but Aldis is facing Flip Gordon here. At this pay-per-view, he says he's here because he wants his shot at Sweet Charlotte, and all of this keeps ducking him. What's he afraid of if he's already beaten him? He will keep coming for him until he gets a shot. Also, Nick is afraid to defend against Flip. He talked his big game, and the people want to see an NWA title defense. Nick arrives and Marty tries to talk him into a title match. He basically tries to bait Nick Aldis into a title match against Flip Gordon. Nick makes everywhere he goes a hot ticket, tells Marty to shut up, and he will defend against Flip tonight if Flip wins. But if Nick wins, all their business is on their terms. Marty has to leave the building for Flip to get his title shot. Marty agrees to leave. So Marty left the building to get his title shot, essentially. To get a title shot for Flip, essentially. TV title tournament semifinal. Trevor Murdoch defeats Dan Moff. Bulldog connects. Good 3-minute match, hard hitting. Ricky Starks defeats Tim Storm in 4:55 with the crucifix. Really good stuff here. Pretty good. But Starks was the right call here. NWA National Champion Shooter Aaron Stevens versus Scott Steiner.
That's a match I never thought I would actually see.
The former Damian Sandow versus Scott Steiner.
Yep. Apparently,
Steiner hits the flatliner, Steiner recliner until the question mark arrives for the DQ. So this ends in the DQ, and Steven runs as Steiner beats down the question mark. Nick Aldis and Flip Gordon, pretty good. Nothing really special here. Aldis counters a victory roll, counters, cuts Gordon off and counters into a victory roll and pins Gordon. And he now calls the shots in the feud with Marty due to the match stipulation. Because whoever won the match gets to call the shots.
Explains why Marty left the building.
That's why Marty left the building. And then TV title tournament final, Ricky Starks versus Trevor Murdoch. Ricky Starks defeats Trevor Murdoch with the stroke. Good stuff. It was veteran versus youngcomer. Good stuff. Overall, very good pay-per-view, formatted like a TV. Easy to watch. I suggest you watch it.
It seemed like this was a solid pay-per-view from start to finish. So, yes. Yeah, it seems like it's a good watch.
Yes, it is. Old school. Very old school.
I like it. Yeah, kind of like the TV title tournament, similar to how King of the Ring used to be. Where King of the Ring was a one-night tournament, and the winner had to win 3 matches. So, I get it. No, I totally dig it. And I wish that WWE brought back the King of the Ring. It actually did like a Queen of the Ring type of deal. Where they did those similar tournaments. But yeah, this is pretty solid.
Worlds Collide.
Worlds Collide was good. Worlds Collide from start to finish was a good
over-delivered, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say so. I think it's I mean, we were looking forward to DIY versus Mustache Mountain. Don't get us wrong. We knew that match was going to deliver, and it did deliver the goods. And obviously, Imperium and Undisputed Era. We knew that was going to deliver the goods. But let's start with the pre-show. That was Mia Yim versus the NXT, and I kind of don't like the whole like dropping the women's part of their championships, but that's what they did. With going NXT UK champion and NXT champion as opposed for Rhea Ripley.
I'm just gonna say UK women's champion. I don't care.
I'm gonna stick with the women's championship too, the women's tag on it as well.
Good pre-show match.
Yes, a good pre-show to start it with Kaylee Ray and Mia Yim. Both women obviously hit hard. It's kind of their style. Solid flows from both. The good chemistry between the two of them. Ultimately, it was Kaylee Ray getting the ropes and the tights, combination of the two, to steal the pin and steal one for NXT UK. The UK up 1-0 here. Then we start with a physical match, a hard-hitting matchup between Finn Balor and Ivan Dragunov to start the main show. Ilya Dragunov, I should say. Yeah, I don't know why I said Ivan. Ilya Dragunov to start the show. And obviously, the crowd was hot on Balor. I think part of that's because I don't think enough of the crowd really knows Ilya Dragunov's style and his skills. I think that's part of the reason why the crowd was so hot on Balor and so a little cold on Dragunov here. But Dragunov played his part, and he played his part pretty well. This was a very solid match from start to finish.
It succeeded. It succeeded.
A good opener to kind of get everyone's like appetites going for the show. So I think that's the way I think it was supposed to be, and that's the way it did. So Finn Balor gets it done, hitting the 1916 to get the pin. But it was a very solid match on both parts. Dragunov's day is coming. I'm very sure his day is coming. It's just a matter of when it's gonna happen.
We got some promo. We got the promo time with Zach Gibson.
And then that was leading towards the NXT UK and the Dusty Cup finals with GYBs and the Broserweights. Pretty Matt Riddle continuing to do his shtick about the kind of subliminal messages with the pot, which is kind of RVD-ish, but it's fine. I think Riddle's just laid back like that, so it's cool. And if he does it, it's cool. So whatever. I'm with it for it. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. Next up, we got the Fatal 4-Way Cruiserweight title match for Devlin, Angel Garza, Isaiah Swerve Scott, and Travis Banks. This was fun. This was very
fun. Balls to the wall. They copied the private party Selly string spot. Which I found hilarious. With Devlin and Swerve.
This felt like Travis Banks. Travis Banks brought it. This is, you could argue, one of Banks's best performances since he's been in WWE. I would say this was entertaining. I love watching Swerve Scott go. I miss his old interest music, but Swerve Scott continues to go, and it seems like it's a matter of time before he wins the title. Angel Garza did his thing. I like that they changed the belt up. I like the title is now black.
Just keep Devlin far away from Arya Daivari.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. We both believe that Devlin had to win the championship. I wish it was like a secondary title for NXT UK, but I'm cool with this. I'm cool with Devlin winning the Cruiserweight title, and now he's effectively going to defend it on both. I would imagine he's going to defend it on both brands, on NXT and NXT UK. So the more Devlin, the better, because Jordan Devlin can go, and the more we see of him, the better off we will be. So I'm perfectly cool with Devlin winning the title. He picked Scott to win the match, by the way. Next up, DIY versus Mustache Mountain. This
was fucking great.
It was. What I loved about this is how we kind of started it with kind of a little bit of psychology involved. There's some pleasantries, some respect from all four parties. How fun that was a good fun way to start the match. And then once we got going, we really got going. There was no middle gear. They went straight 100 miles an hour pretty much from midway through to the end.
I wish there was a middle gear, though. I wish there was.
Me too.
That's why it's like at a 4.5 instead of at a 5.
Right. Like I thought it was, it was very good, and there's even a better gear that these two teams could go at, which I think that's the beautiful part about this. There's even more that they can do with each other. I think that's what made this special, and that's what made this very entertaining. Ultimately, with DIY getting it done, when they meet me in the middle, or as a move I love to call Meet Me in St. Louis, obviously being in the middle of the country, and Ciampa getting the pin on Trent Seven. But this was a very productive match from start to finish. Good stuff. If y'all want to run it back, well, we're here for it. I think this was the worst match of the night, this NXT Women's Championship match, but it's not to say it was a bad one. It's just saying the other 4 matches were very good. Rhea Ripley versus Toni Storm, and it was all right. I think I got the sense that I thought these two could have done more. And I thought their match in Blackpool where Toni beat Ripley to win the title initially, I thought was better.
It only got 10 minutes, so.
Yeah, I think it could have used a little bit more time. I think they could have done a little bit more stuff. So Rhea retains, as you probably would have expected. But I thought it was an okay match. I think there's more they could have done with it. And then the 8-man, which was this, along with obviously the tag match you just mentioned.
This main event was fucking awesome. Bartel and Aichner are fucking awesome.
I love Bartel and Aichner.
Bartel and Aichner are fucking awesome.
I love Bartel and Eichner. Remember when we talked about this last week? Where we talked about heel team in NXT UK and like teams that have like a second gear that can go to that 100 miles an hour stretch, and the fact that we said there were only 2 teams NXT UK that could actually do it, and that's Andrews and Morgan Webster, and these 2. These are the only, and GYVs can probably do it as well. These are the only 3 teams in UK that can actually go to that second or third gear. Eichner and Bartel are awesome together, and they are special together. They got tag team titles written all over them in hopefully the near future. Not that I hate guys, because I do like those 2 dudes beating people
Alexander
up.
Wolf to accidentally tucked his chin.
Yep,
So.
and got caught by Fishing Strong, which took him out of the match, and it became 4-on-3. But I think this played out pretty much exactly what we said it would last week. We said last week we thought Imperium would win because how does Undisputed Era deal with Walter? The answer, even on a 4-on-3 advantage, they couldn't. Even with Fish, O'Reilly, and Strong triple teaming Walter, and then the Olympic Slam from one table through the other, Walter still came back.
O'Reilly got splatted, and then he was like, "Oh fuck."
O'Reilly's facial expressions are awesome. O'Reilly's facial expressions are absolutely awesome. It's perfect timing with his facial expressions, and. No, Walter was just too strong. Basically, Terminator status is what Walter was. And ultimately, this broke down, and Eichner and Bartel doing their moves to kind of hold off Undisputed Era as long as they could. And ultimately, it was Walter hitting a powerbomb on Bobby Fish and pinning Fish to win the match for Imperium. So it was 3-3, as we expected it would be, between the 2 brands, NXT and NXT UK. But very good stuff all the way through. Worlds Collide was entertaining pretty much from start to finish. I'm here for more of this. Oh, and by the way, before the NXT UK before the NXT Women's Title match in the 8-man tag, we saw the attack by Balor onto Gargano. Gargano was being interviewed, and then Trent Seven took exception to what Balor did and wanted some heat with Balor. He got it on Wednesday. We'll talk about that when we get to NXT. But this was only night 1 in Houston for the WWE, as now we gotta get to the Royal Rumble.
Minute Maid Park. At least they didn't make any Astros jokes. I think they told them.
I was expecting it too.
I think they told them off limits.
Yeah, I was expecting for Corey Graves to drop an Astros nugget in there, but it never happened. It never did happen.
Them it was off limits.
Yeah. Probably so. I think that was and though it would have been funny, I understood why they didn't want to go that route, because the Astros have been through enough heat over the last 3 weeks. So I kind of understood why they did that. Okay, so let's talk about it. Royal Rumble 2020. First, the pre-show matches. We'll start with Sheamus versus Gable. Solid pre-show opening. Not too bad. Not too great, but not too bad. I think it was a solid opening. Solid way to get everyone going, get everyone in the building, be productive. Ultimately, it was Sheamus who will finish the deal as he dropped the brogue kick on Gable to get the pin. But a solid opening in Sheamus' first match in WWE in a long time. So good job there.
I think I accidentally turned it into an episode of The Simpsons because all I saw was groundskeeper Willie beating up Bart Simpson for an extended period of time. That's what Joel Abraham had said on The Voice.
That's pretty funny. And for those who know me well, The Simpsons are my favorite show, so I respect the reference. I respect the hustle. Good job. So, Almas versus Humberto Carrillo, U.S. Championship match. A pretty good match. It was a good match. I felt like they could have gone a little bit further, but it was a good match nonetheless. I was okay with it. Very productive. Almas won clean to get the pin and retain the title. And to kind of keep the story going, they ran it back on Raw as well. And Carrillo, I thought the Raw match was a little bit better. And Carrillo was looking like he was about to win the title.
A lot better.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm saying the Raw was better than the Rumble match. Carrillo looked like he was about to win the title, and then Zelina Vega would interfere, causing a disqualification in Carrillo to win. But then Carrillo would take it a step further. It looked like Almas was about to DDT Carrillo onto the concrete floor in San Antonio, And instead, Carrillo would get his revenge by DDTing Almas and basically putting Almas' face into the mat, into the concrete on the outside of the ring, repaying him for what he did in December. Now, obviously, there's the second layer to this. As we knew, as the match was going on between Almas and Carrillo, the news dropped that Almas got suspended for a month for the wellness
Then
policy.
why keep the title on him?
That's the question that's the exact question I was thinking. Why would you not have Carrillo win the title? That made zero sense. Even when Roman Reigns got caught for PEDs, even they had Roman Reigns get pinned and lose the title clean. Like, even then, like we saw that when right before Money in the Bank, when Reigns got caught, and then they had Rollins win the title from him, and then obviously Ambrose win it from Rollins. Even then, they had their Golden Boy lost the title. I found that to be kind of dumb. The fact that Almas is still champion. I don't like that. Just have Carrillo, because now you got the title stuck for a month. Now you've got the title stuck. Unless you're gonna strip Almas, you got the title stuck now. What do you do with the U.S. title? You tied your hands. And I think that's a huge mistake on their parts to have Almas keep the U.S. championship as opposed to him losing it. Bad idea.
Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin. This sucked. This sucked.
Why do I get the feeling there should have been more to this? I didn't think this match was too.
I'm not gonna dump boring. This was boring as fuck. This was like that standard walking brawl.
This was expected. You know what? And it was obvious that Ziggler and Rude and the Usos were going to be involved. Why didn't just have a 6-man holds Falls Count Anywhere, a 6-man holds barred? Like their involvement, the involvement to the other 4 guys, I thought was actually good. I thought
the involvement with the other 4 saved this match.
I thought they totally made that work. I think that was very good. Have Jey Uso dive off.
And then they had the porta potty spot where the announcers refused to use the word toilet.
Yep. And then Reigns actually. That was like, I thought that even that was kind of underdone. And then if you're gonna really embarrass Corbin, just go out all the way with it. And then you have obviously the spear on the dugout for Reigns to get the pin on Corbin. This should have been better for a Falls Count Anywhere match. This really should have been better. It just wasn't. Chaotic, sure, but it should have been better. Women's Rumble match. I enjoyed this Rumble match better than the previous 2. I love this Rumble match. I thought it was my favorite of the 3 so far. It really is. I was really a fan of this. First off, Bianca Belair.
This Women's Rumble was really good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is the best to me, this is the best of the 3 Rumbles so far for the women. Bianca Belair absolutely killed it. And for those of y'all who've been listening, and those of you who haven't.
No, let's go entrant by entrant.
No, well, she came in number 2. She came in number 2 anyway. Yes. Alexa Bliss was the first
eliminations in 26:34. Eliminated by Bianca Belair.
Mm-hmm. Bianca Belair. Who was second.
8 eliminations. She was really impressive.
Bianca Belair was probably the MVP of the Rumble match for the women. She was outstanding. She lasted 33 minutes.
33:20 was the official time.
She was the second. She lasted the second longest. She was eventually eliminated by Charlotte Flair, but Bianca Belair was excellent in her I believe her first Royal Rumble.
Let me see if Rumble Metrics has something on the 2020. 2020 Beast Mode. Here we go. We have.
Yeah, Bianca Belair was came in. She was out. She was really good. And what we were, as we were talking with each other as the Rumble was going on, we talked about how good the interactions Bianca Charlotte was. Bianca Charlotte Naomi was entertaining. Those are matches that we would both love to see. This was good. Like her involved. Belair was absolutely not out of place. With some of the
so the average interval was 145 in the women's Rumble. The youngest participant was Toni Storm, 24 years, 3 months, 7 days. The oldest was Santina. I hated every minute of it.
I just laughed hysterically.
I hated it. I hated it.
I didn't put any. It took away a spot that could have gone to someone else. I understand it. But yeah, I understood that point of view, like why you would hate it, why you would dump on that. But
Revolution, and you have a man in there. Come on, bitches.
Yeah. You think it was in part because of Sasha, and possibly Sasha's inability to actually compete in the Rumble match? You think that was why Santina was put in instead?
Yeah.
And so I think that was part of it. And obviously we got the Liv Morgan part. Well, Liv Morgan and Lana have a little thing. Thank goodness they didn't give Lana a microphone. They had their part in there where they eliminate each other and they continue to fight. We saw Naomi return, which was great, and then Naomi do a Rumble escape spot, which I thought was nice. We saw some nice surprises with the likes of Mighty Molly come back, and which I thought was a nice. That was
Bianca
a nice touch.
Belair was the longest person in the Rumble at 33:22.
Okay, she did outlast Charlotte. Okay.
61.47% of the match. Chelsea Green was the shortest. 40 seconds, 1.23. The average was 10:08, 18.67%. Most eliminations was Bianca Belair and Baszler with 8. There were 21 wrestlers with 0 eliminations.
Yes, yeah. Let's think about that. Belair, Baszler, and Charlotte, who I believe had 6 or 7 eliminations. The three of them really did eliminate most of the field.
The longest gap between eliminations was between 18 and 19, 11:57. So I'll read you the Rumble metrics. 13. That's one number. Brock Lesnar's 13 consecutive eliminations to open. We'll
get to the men's. We'll get to the men's. Ultimately, the Rumble came down to Charlotte and Shayna Baszler, who came in number 30. And it would seem that it's only a matter of time before Shayna's officially called up to the main roster. And Shayna absolutely didn't seem out of place. She was basically a tornado and destroyed pretty much everyone in her path. Dropping 8. Belair eliminated 8 women in about a half hour. Shayna did it in about 2 minutes. And she scorched the earth and destroyed everyone in her path and everyone in front of her, including getting some revenge on Chelsea Blackheart, and basically Shayna dominating the latter half of the latter stages of the Rumble until we got to her and Charlotte. But Beth Phoenix doing her thing too. Beth Phoenix getting revenge on Natty, and Beth Phoenix taking a real nasty cut in the back of her head. And she got. I don't think it was Xia Li, because it happened before. After watching it back, it happened before Xia Li got involved in the match. So I didn't see how exactly it happened, but it happened before Xia Li, because there was a massive gash in the back of her head before that. But Beth Phoenix, she was tough, and that explains why she didn't do Worlds Collide. I thought that's what she was going to do with Phillips and Nigel. But that explains why she didn't. And Beth Phoenix finishing 3rd in the Women's Rumble. Very impressive on her part before Shayna eliminated her. Very impressive. A good Rumble. This was a good Rumble, all from start to finish. I enjoyed the Women's Rumble. This was easily, to me, the best of the 3 that they've done so far. Charlotte winning from number 17.
Bayley versus Lacey Evans. This was bad.
It was. Yeah, it was
awful.
This was not good. It was. This was barely, honestly, that much, not even very watchable, to be honest. It's just boring to me, which was sad because the build up to it was actually pretty good and pretty productive, and it put Lacey on pretty well. And I'm like, okay, this actually might be something. It wasn't. None of it was good. It was just boring, honestly, to tell you the truth.
I rewatched the strap match. It was not good.
I enjoyed it more than you did, but then again, that's the case with pretty much all Bray Wyatt things. I like the story involved with it. I like that they actually.
It was good, but I'm fucking done with the Fiend.
Well, you've been done with the Fiend for like 2 months now. To me, what made this productive for me was that the strap prominent part of the match, that it didn't deviate with other weapons or anything like that. B, I love that running how Bryant ran into the Sister Abigail. I thought that should have been the finish. I think that's what we said that as it happened. We wish that should have been the finish. That the mandible claw and then Daniel Bryan getting out of the mandible claw and that part of it. I think it should have rearranged it. And then the Terminator spot where Bray Wyatt gets hit with the strap and it does not affect him. That should have been at the start of the match. I think that would have made that better. And then as the
I
match
liked
goes
what
on,
Kelly Harris had to say on the Voice of the Wrestling review.
Okay.
It's legitimately depressing to see one of the greatest wrestlers to ever live be stuck in this goofy bullshit. I'll be positive for a moment and say that Daniel Bryan managed to drag a halfway decent match out of The Fiend for the second good singles match of Bray Wyatt's career. Take this match out of the context of anything else around it, and what's a solid underdog versus monster match. Now, with that out of the way, it was an immensely stupid match. Bryan took an actual whipping for this. Remember, WWE is the safe company.
Yes.
This is the best company for him to be for his health. This is the kind of horseshit that make me stop watching this company. They don't care about their product, and they don't care about their wrestlers. Bray Wyatt is a terrible wrestler with a stupid gimmick. He's perfect for this company. And that's
it was confusing. It was confusing that they actually chose a strap match initially. Like, okay, I get it. Why not just put it in a cage match then? Like, if you don't want him to escape, let's just have a cage or something. Thank goodness they got rid of the red lighting, because that was annoying in itself. But Bray won. I think he was the right person to win the match.
No, I don't think he was either. Awesome. The wrong person won.
But ultimately, it's clear that they're gonna go. If you're gonna go all in with something, you might as well go all in. It's like what they did with Jinder and how Jinder's run lasted 6 months.
Fuck
you're
Jinder Mahal.
You're gonna go all in.
That shit.
That's something we'll tell our any eventual kids one day. Jinder Mahal was trash, and then within 2 months they turned him into a WWE champion. It's something we'll tell the next generation. But I digress. Bray retains the title. Now we get to the men's Royal Rumble match. Good. This was entertaining as well. The men's Rumble was actually really entertaining.
Becky Lynch versus Asuka.
Oh, Becky Asuka. I'm sorry. Becky Asuka before that. Becky Asuka before that was good. Yes, this was a very good match as well. Actually. Yes, this was very good, and I enjoyed it from start to finish. I thought it was very productive. It served its purpose. Definitely making Asuka still look productive as a heel, and making Becky finally get over the hump, if you will, with finally beating the Empress of Tomorrow. I like the green mist spot. I thought was very well effectively played. With Asuka trying to use the green mist, but Becky this time countering it and making sure she didn't get caught in the eyes. And Kairi Sane's involvement was also very well played, I think. So that was well done. And ultimately, Asuka tapping out to the disarmer. I think Asuka was the right person. Becky was the right person to win the match. So I think they played pretty much everything very well done here. So good job by Asuka, Becky, and everybody who thought Becky should have retained. So good job there. And now we get to the Royal Rumble match, the men's Royal Rumble, if you will. Yes. Very entertaining from start to finish. Yes. I was a fan of this. I like how they played a lot of the start of the match of, okay, Brock Lesnar's going to dominate. And he's going to scorch the earth. And he did. I just didn't expected, A, for Lesnar to have 13 straight eliminations, and B, why not just have Brock Lesnar break the record, by the way? That part kind of disappointed me. I think Lesnar should have broken the record. I really do. I think he should have just broken at 14 so we can stop his greatest Royal Rumble ever stuff. The hot garbage that Strowman getting 14 eliminations in a 50-man Rumble. I wish it would have been Lesnar breaking the record with 14 eliminations as opposed to tying it with 13. That's my one gripe about this.
I don't care about that shit.
Other than that, I guess it's just statistics, I guess. But other than that, I like how this played out with Ricochet getting a little bit of revenge with the low blow, and then McIntyre with the Claymore. The interactions of Brock and Keith Lee, I thought that was great. The stuff that New Day with the Kofi, Big E, and Rey Mysterio did, I thought that was a good way to triple team Brock. I think they kind of squashed Strowman and Keith Lee not being used as effectively. I think they
So he cleared out jobbers. Then he confronted his old rivals, Kofi, Ray, and Big E.
Which I thought was nice.
Then he had the Minnesota Wrecking Crew reunion with Shelton. Then he defeated two IWGP Intercontinental Champions in MVP and Nakamura, because MVP was the first IWGP Intercontinental Champion.
And it's just probably being the most famous. Him and AJ, of course.
And Nakamura.
No, that's not Nakamura. That's Nakamura and AJ are being probably the two most famous.
Oh, yeah. And then the interesting hospital section.
Eric Rowan lasted the least amount of time, I believe, with 8 seconds. And what about? We probably should talk about the Riddle and Lesnar thing.
Yes.
How Riddle and Lesnar kind of got into a backstage beef, a backstage kind of argument. It didn't escalate any deep, but Riddle and Lesnar kind of had a backstage altercation. With Riddle pretty much calling out Brock Lesnar, and he's pretty much been sticking to that for a while. I know Heyman commented on it. I was reading an article earlier today about Heyman commenting on it, saying, I get it. I get why Riddle comes after Brock Lesnar. He's the biggest draw. He knows he thinks part of this is a money grab. Like, you attach your name to Brock Lesnar, you're trying to get money. You're trying to get attention. So Heyman kind of understood it sounded like, from why Riddle will come after Brock and call out Lesnar, saying he was going to end his career. Lesnar promptly saying, like, I'm not gonna work with you, like, I'm not working with you, or stuff like that. So I get it why Heyman would clap back the way he did. I understand, completely understand it. Nothing physical happened. There was nothing happened to Riddle. Nothing was done. This was clearly just like a backstage argument between the two dudes. But yeah, McIntyre eliminating Lesnar, and you can see the writing was on the wall that it was going to be McIntyre and Lesnar at WrestleMania in some way, somehow. And it was ultimately, this was a very entertaining match. McIntyre came in at 16 to get the elimination there. But basically the world broke for the second time in about 7 hours on Sunday because of the 21st entrant. And his name was?
On this day, I see clearly.
The world broke when the Rated R superstar Edge made his triumphant return to the ring. And the reaction videos, if you haven't seen some of them on YouTube, I advise you to go do it because it's highly entertaining and it's awesome. Seeing the reactions, some of them live at Minute Maid Park, some of them at home, some of them in bars. Live reactions, awesome, of Edge making his triumphant return. And the cameraman, whoever was the cameraman at first, the live camera feed, with the first spear on Ziggler, how did you fail and miss that?
How did you miss?
WWE
production, you suck.
No,
you suck. You suck. You suck. You suck. Kevin Dunn. You suck.
Oh, it was. That's a bad miss. Now, I knew that there were different angles. They were going to catch the spear, and I know they're going to go back and edit it to make sure that the secondary angle is the one that gets used for that anytime anyone goes back and watches the Royal Rumble. I know that's going to happen just because I've seen this happen with camera angles and editing before, so I know how that goes down. But yeah, so the first spear missing that live was pretty bad. And okay, so they got Edge comes in, wrecks shop, does his thing. We saw some great interactions, Edge and AJ Styles, Edge and Seth Rollins. We saw some great interactions and some dream matches that we kind of expect to happen and kind of we really honestly hope that see happen. And I saw some interesting tidbits on Edge's deal. Apparently his deal is a 3-year situation. He's got 25 matches involved in the deal. He's got to work at least 3 per year to get $1 million a year. And he's got to do 25 appearances and 5 matches. So apparently that's pretty much the gist of Edge's contract with WWE. So it is kind of part-time, but Edge is at least going to do stuff with it. As from what I understand and from what I've read about, with Edge's Edge signing a deal with WWE to do more stuff. The Rumble itself came down to Edge, Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre as the final three, and Randy Orton as the fourth. And we got a lot of Team Rated RKO stuff, which I thought was great. The double RKO on McIntyre was fun. And it looked like Orton was going to turn on Edge. And Edge, as we know, they teamed with Orton, and Edge was really a schemer before Randy Orton was. So Orton made the fatal mistake of turning his back on Edge, and he really shouldn't have did that, and promptly was thrown out of the match by Edge. Unfortunately, we did not get a Kofi escape, and I'm not sure this match really needed it. I think this match was pretty good without a Kofi escape this year. We also got the interactions of Seth and Buddy, kind of jump back in the story. Seth and his crew dealing with Joe, Alistair, and Kevin Owens, as Owens, Joe, and Rollins pretty much came out at the end of the match. Rollins was number 30. So we got some interactions between those guys, and a massive brawl that followed the eliminations of all the faces. So we got good interaction there. Keep that story going. There's more on Raw. So it came down, as I mentioned, to the final four. Orton getting eliminated by Edge. That's the final three. Reigns eliminated Edge, which drops into the final two of Reigns and McIntyre. And then it was McIntyre with a Claymore kick and an elimination of Roman Reigns. So Drew McIntyre wins the 2020 Royal Rumble and will finally get his first shot at the WWE or the Universal Championship at WrestleMania, which I'm going to get to right about now, because Raw is the next thing that happens here.
Raw.
Monday Night Raw. And I think it started well. I thought it ended very well. The middle, all right, nothing special. So we start with, I already told you about Almas and Umberto and that situation, so we can skip over that. But then we can get to McIntyre started the show. And McIntyre got a hero's welcome in San Antonio and immediately decided he wasted no time that he was going to come and do the obvious thing and go after Brock Lesnar in the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. So we got that match set up. McIntyre then promptly destroyed Gallows and Anderson in a handicap match, dropping both of them with Claymores and pinning them both. This led to Brock Lesnar then dropping McIntyre with a prompt F5 right after the proceedings, or right after the match that McIntyre just had. So I thought it's a good job of advancing the storyline. It's a good job of kind of setting it up with Drew and Brock coming up in 9 weeks. I think it's a very good look that we got what we got here. Good job on all parts. Cool with that. Next up, we got Rey Mysterio versus a rather old MVP. Let's call it a spade. MVP did not move very well at all, but it was an alright match for what it was. Rey Mysterio getting the win. So really, you missed nothing here except for nostalgia. Yeah. Let's see here. Aleister Black destroyed somebody and is promptly saying he's going to go after other people as opposed to waiting for people to challenge him, which is perfectly fine because we need Aleister Black having more high-profile matches. We need that. We need more of that.
Yeah, Buddy Murphy and Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe got concussion, so it was Buddy Murphy and Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens, and Buddy Murphy and Seth Rollins win.
Ultimately, it was Buddy Murphy getting the pin on Kevin Owens after the Viking Raiders jumped AOP in their locker room, keeping that storyline going between those 8 men. Unfortunately, obviously, Joe with the concussion kind of hindered things a little bit, but still a win for Buddy and Seth. All right.
Umberto versus Andrade.
I pretty much explained that earlier after the Rumble match with Umberto winning by disqualification and then basically getting his revenge on Andrade right after. Again, why do you have Andrade keep the title even though he's getting suspended and can't technically defend it within the 30-day period? Made zero sense to either of us, quite honestly.
Charlotte
actually really didn't make a decision. She truthfully didn't decide on whether she's going to challenge Bayley or Becky or whoever either champion is going to be. She didn't really make a call. She instead fought Asuka. And what was a pretty productive fight. It was a pretty productive one-on-one between the two. It's clear Asuka needs to get back on her feet after losing. Kairi Sane would get involved and basically cause a disqualification. But Flair would fight the both of them off as Asuka had to. So Tyrese had to make the save after of the sane interference. So Charlotte wins by DQ, and Charlotte will continue to keep everybody on edge with her. Will keep everybody guessing with her decision.
Can we say these three segments never happened? Then Mojo Rawley, No Way Jose, R-Truth dressed as a cheeseburger, Lana versus Liv Morgan, and Eric Rowan versus
Liv won. Finally, hopefully we can end this segment with Liv and Lana. Liv finally beats Lana. Rowan destroys another jobber dude. But really, the last hour of Raw was basically trash until we got to Edge's return to Raw. Until we got to Edge's return, the last three segments were complete trash. And Edge returns. The building goes nuts. The building is basically living on Edge's every single word. Randy Orton then comes out, and it looked like, okay, could Randy and RKO be coming back together? Or is Randy going to fight Edge? This turned into, okay, Orton's like, he dangled the carrot. Like, all right, let's have Randy RKO. Let's have Randy RKO come back. And then Orton dropped him with an RKO. Instantly turning him heel, instantly making everybody hate Randy Orton. And I think this was the right move to do it. I love that they went this route for Randy. I think this is a good look to go. Randy being incredibly safe in the ring for Edge considering his neck injury and his neck history. Perfectly cool with it. I think Edge wouldn't have been able to take the concerto and the RKO if his neck weren't 100%. So I'm perfectly fine with it. It's similar how Daniel Bryan returned. How Daniel Bryan returned and he immediately got beat up. And you kind of knew, okay, he's going to be all right. So I get it. So I'm perfectly cool with this. I think it's perfectly fine as long as he's healthy. Perfectly fine. And then Orton then finishes the deal with a concerto on one of the innovators of the concerto, dropping Edge with it. It looked like he was going to do worse. It looked like Orton was seriously going to finish Edge, but he had the chair around his neck. It was going to the second row. It was like, wow, you really are going to finish him. Thankfully, Randy didn't go that route, but the concerto is the next best thing. So I think it's perfectly fine. We're clearly setting Orton and Edge up either for WrestleMania or for Blood Money 4, aka Blood Money 5, aka Super Showdown. So that's Raw. Raw started well. Had some good stuff until the 10 o'clock hour hit, and then it ended outstandingly well. So that's Raw. You want to go AEW or NXT? NXT was hot to me. NXT, I liked NXT.
I thought both shows were meh.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you on AEW. I just couldn't get into AEW.
AEW was bland.
Yeah, it was pretty bland. AEW was pretty bland to me. NXT, and I think the thing about NXT that we learned this week, this women's division is incredibly deep. The fact that you had two good matches, and a third with Chelsea Green, I thought was but the other two matches I thought were good, and you didn't have anybody that involved themselves in the War Games match or actually officially competed in the War Games match. You got this women's division stacked, and I wish the UK division would get some of these women. But the night started off with Finn Balor and Trent Seven, and Finn Balor basically beat up Trent Seven from start to finish and effectively dominated the match. Seven got some of his stuff in. He got a 7-star lariat, but this is really about Balor doing his thing. Balor hit the coup de grace in 1916 to get it done, but this was a good opener to the show. It really was. This is one of the two women's matches. Shotzi Blackheart and Deonna Purrazzo was a productive women's match. A good way to start the show. I like Shotzi Blackheart's mini tank. I was cool. I thought that was fun. It was a fun way to come into the ring. People were loving it. Her entrance online, I noticed that. But ultimately, it was Shotzi getting it done and getting the pin for a diving senton to kind of continue her run in NXT. Good job there. Lee Dijakovic and Damian Priest. Good segment between the three big men. The Marilyn Manson wannabe line by Dijakovic was great. I thought that was hilarious. That was funny. And this led to a very good match between Dijakovic and Damian Priest. So this was a very good match between the two of them. I thought both dudes really, really put it down. I was a big fan of this match. Highly entertaining. It was Dijakovic getting it done with the Feast Your Eyes, but this is a really good match, and probably Priest's best match since he's been in NXT. That's how that match was the match he won against Keith Lee last summer. Either one would be fine.
Yeah.
Then we got a very violent situation. Well, not violent, but a very good situation by Ciampa. As we knew that Cole was going to find out his challenger for TakeOver Portland on Wednesday. And we noticed that Undisputed Era kind of got laid out in the back. And it was Ciampa who did it with a steel pipe. He kind of said he was going to do this and then promptly laid out the other three members of UE with a lead pipe, leaving Cole one-on-one. Cole got heated. They went to the ring. Cole went to the ring with the contract and said, okay, let's go to work. And as those two dudes started the fight, ultimately, it was Ciampa powerbombing Cole through a table and then putting his name, pen to paper on the contract. So we're looking like Ciampa versus Cole in Portland, which we expected, but it made it official for TakeOver Portland. Well done segment. Good stuff there. A rivalry that has continued to build and build and build, and I've enjoyed this build. I know you've enjoyed it too. Between Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai. Full disclosure, Tegan and Dakota look extra hot right now. No cap, no lies here.
No lies.
But ultimately, it was in the ring. We obviously got the uses of the knee brace by Nox onto Kai, but it was the shiniest wizard that put Kai down for 3 with a little bit of an assist by Candice LeRae, who would kind of get herself involved in the match. But good job continuing to build this rivalry. I kind of hope this isn't the end, because I think there's more these two can do. And if ever there's a women's match that deserves like a no DQ or some sort of stip between these two, I think these two are probably the two to have it. But this was good stuff between Nox and Kai. Let's keep that going. Chelsea Green got beat by Kaden Carter. There wasn't much here, to tell you the truth, that happened. But Chelsea losing her first effective match in NXT, not much really happened here. We're going to need to see more from her eventually. And now we get to the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Classic, GYBs, and the Broserweights. A good match. A very productive match. It served its purpose. All 4 guys got their stuff in. Both teams did great double team work. I thought this was nothing seemed out of place here. Highly entertaining from start to finish. The Broserweights, who have caught fire since they've become a team, and in the 3 weeks they've been tag teaming together. Riddle and Dunn get the job done, and they hit the kind of the bro to sleep, if you will, to get the pin on Gibson and win the titles and win the Dusty Cup and #1 contendership for the Tag Team Championships to take over Portland. So that's the added prize that was added on Saturday at Worlds Collide before they did their promo. So they are the 4th winners, joining Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, AOP in the Undisputed Era, the 5th winners, AOP in the Undisputed Era, and last year's winners, Aleister Black and Ricochet. And that is NXT.
AEW. We had a promo from Jon Moxley saying the crowd loves him, and then Jericho comes out and interrupts him, calls the crowd idiots for singing that song.
Yeah, for singing the song and the fact that they were in Cleveland. Obviously Moxley being from Cincinnati, got the Ohio love involved there too.
10-on-1. He did the OH. IO.
That's a chant as a Penn Stater I will never do, but I understand why you did it.
Penn Stater will never do.
Oh no, we don't believe in that. Nope, I don't believe in that at all. Nope.
Yeah. And East Mike will never do that chant, so
I did get a chuckle out of Jericho and following the Ohioans after that chant. I did get a little a chuckle out of Jericho doing that. So good job, Chris. Good job.
But it was good promo work from both.
It was. It really was. Of both parties, all seriousness, the promo was actually good. So it served its purpose. Continued to build heat up for their one-on-one title match at the end of the month, at the end of February in Chicago. So it continued to build up the heat. So good job there. It was good stuff.
Butcher and the Blade versus the Bucks. Meltzer driver. Done. Good match.
It was. AEW on the comments. MJF on the commentary. I thought he was productive there.
Did you see the vignette beforehand?
Yeah, I love that. I love the vignette. I thought it was dope. I thought it served. I thought every character involved in that played it perfectly. AEW kind of MJF kind of being a boss, and then getting Wardlow with the briefcase was obviously full of with the envelope was obviously full of cash. As the blade, as Bunny had the knife, it was like you said something wrong, it was gonna be trouble. There's gonna be some drama involved, but I love how that was played off. And then the stuff in the crowd MJF did before he went to the commentary table. Oh, that was wild. What MJF was doing in the crowd before he went to the commentary table and talked with basically JR and Shivani, but on the whole crew there. I thought that was funny as well. MJF again is a heel that is awesome.
We'll get to Hangman Page later. We'll get to Hangman Page later and the $12 that he owes Private Party. We did see that. You saw that though, right?
I did see that. That was good. Hangman Page is funny. Hangman Page, good job.
Omega makes a save. Butcher Blade attacks the Bucks. Omega makes a save, and Page hits the Buckshot Lariat with the beer in hand.
Yep. No, actually, he handed the beer off. He
handed the beer off the mat.
Yeah, he handed the beer off to Matt Jackson, and then hit the Buckshot Lariat, and then he took the beer and back. He took the beer back and dipped. So that was great. It's only a matter of time for Hangman Page to turn.
I love Hangman.
It's only a matter of time for him to turn on Kenny, but in the meantime, continue to do this stuff that you're doing, Hangman. This is funny.
You're a champion.
I'm here for this.
Nyla Rose versus Big Swole. This was really good.
It actually was a good match. You know what? We got to see Nyla Rose actually get tested. And we got to see Big Swole and her athleticism. I think this was a good match to have. I think both women are better against smaller opponents. But I think this was a good match. I really do. I think this was really Nyla Rose, every opponent's going to be smaller, but Nyla Rose against like super smaller, like women to face, as opposed to Big Swole, who's not quite in her like build class, but is probably the second biggest woman that's going to consistently wrestle on AEW. But this was a good match.
Cody versus Kip Sabian. This was easily the worst Cody match.
Yeah.
In his AEW tenure.
Yeah, Nyla Rose got it done, by the way. But yeah, Cody versus Kip, yeah, really not much. I mean, there's a whole lot of involvement by Penelope Ford. A whole lot of happened with Penelope. She was really the main part of the match, honestly, as opposed to the
Ford
two guys.
Ford is a Dollar Tree Zelina Vega.
Yeah? I can buy that.
Wasn't his fault. It wasn't Cody's fault. So.
No. It probably was too much Penelope Ford. It probably was too much Penelope. But yeah, no, Zelina is so much better in that role. You're 100% right. Zelina is so much better in that role. Cody gets the win, but yeah, it was and Cody put obviously putting some more on that with 3 straight crossroads to finish the deal, as he's gonna take a whipping next week. To set up the 3 weeks of to set up the stipulations that were going to happen before he could fight MJF in Chi-Town.
And then Britt Baker, fire.
Britt Baker on the microphone is heat. Is nothing but heat. There is nothing but heat. Like her, and she could extended her beef to JR with the getting at him with the barbecue sauce and getting at him.
How does she know? How does she know that he has gingivitis by his breath?
Well, she's a dentist. She can figure that out. She's got a PhD, as we now know.
DMD.
She got a PhD. She's a DMD. She knows, and she's studied it in dermatology. So
don't mess with dentists.
Nope, not at all. But basically, better have a pack of gum on hand.
Bitch.
Basically, I think what we're saying here, if you're going to talk to Britt Baker up close, have a pack of gum on hand, because she can put you on game for that.
Adam Cole, baby. Adam Cole, baby.
Dr. Cole, baby. Dr. Cole, baby. Spitting out more heat on AEW with the microphone. She is absolutely fire with her. She's absolute fire with a microphone. There's no other way to say it. Dr. Cole, you with the microphone is just absolute fire. She'll be in action next week.
Next up, SCU versus Helico and Kat, and Helico and Jack Evans. They had a tribute to Kobe.
Yep, SCU, all 3 of them wearing Kobe jerseys. And it was clear that Scorpio Sky was absolutely shook, as a whole lot of the world was, so we understood why. Was shook with Kobe's passing. So the three of the SoCal natives showed some love to the NBA legend, and it was SCU with a good win to finish the kind of get themselves back on track, and it's clear they're gonna get a title shot, a rematch.
And we got Dark Order shit.
Yep. Just when you think you can go without Dark Order, Dark Order comes back, and they clearly want more heat with Christopher Daniels, and they clearly want him to join the Dark Order. Hey, at least we didn't get Brady Rhodes' crew. At least we didn't get Brady Rhodes' crew.
Oh, I think. I hope they scrap that shit.
At least we didn't get that. Hey, we didn't get them for back-to-back weeks. So that's the thing that nobody seems to like is Nightmare Collective.
No one.
We didn't get.
No.
We didn't get that for the second straight week. So at least there's that. We got an Edgar Allan Poe style promo from Pac. I mean, like where Pac was like, he seemed very angry and upset.
He's coming for blood, man.
He's coming for blood. Like the dude's in nothing but his tights, and he's outside, like he's out in like the Cleveland winter, which I don't recommend anybody to do. And he's cutting a promo, like he's cut a very violent promo, like he's coming for Kenny Omega's blood, and like he's gonna start this process next week. So like it was ominous, man. It was very ominous.
So next week, we got our next week preview. So next week, Cody takes his 10 lashes from MJF.
Mm-hmm.
Ortiz versus Jon Moxley, Britt Baker versus Yuka Sakazaki, and Bucks, Page, and Omega versus Butcher, Blade, and the Lucha Brothers.
That was so originally the Lucha Bros. They were that was the mystery team that Butcher and the Blade were going to add to the 8-man tag. So that's a good amount of stuff happening next week on AEW's Dynamite. Then we get to the main event: Private Party, Darby Allin versus Santana Ortiz and La Champion, Chris Jericho.
Private Party never got their $12 from Hangman Page.
Nope, they never got the money back from Hangman Page. But
For their drink.
This is true. What it did catch was a beating. And
the Judas Effect.
And the Judas Effect basically knocked one of the Private Party members cold.
Cassidy.
It knocked Cassidy cold out in the middle of the ring. Jericho gets the pin. If ever there was a Nightfall moment of the week, that's it. Because Jericho knocked him cold with the Judas Effect, and he was done from there. This turned into a beatdown, a 5-on-1 beating, a 5-on-3, really 5-on-2 at this point. Beatdown, where Darby Allin really took the worst of it, as Darby got the skateboard to the throat by Sammy Guevara, and he took a whip from the title belt to his back, as it's clear. It looks like Allin and Guevara. That'd be a pretty solid one-on-one match, actually. So if they do that, by all means, that'd be pretty good. Basically, Moxley had to make the save, and basically save what could have been a whole lot worse for Darby Allin, quite honestly. And that's how really the show ended, was Moxley making the save and getting the Inner Circle away from Darby Allin. That's AEW.
Yes. Super Bowl.
And now, Super Bowl Sunday. The best offense in the playoffs and the best defense in the playoffs are the only ones left standing. We got the Chiefs, whose road here was getting the number 2 seed in the AFC thanks to the Dolphins beating the Patriots and basically chasing the landscape of the AFC forever. Even with Tom Brady's cryptic tweet, if you didn't see it, you should probably look at his Twitter. His tweet's pretty cryptic. Anyway, we saw the Chiefs come back from a 24-0 lead, 24-0 deficit by the hands of the Texans, and Bill O'Brien being a complete idiot. I'm sorry, Bill. I know you're a former Penn State coach, but in Houston, you really just lost your brain cells. That was a really dumb decision on your part. But what ended up happening was the 41 unanswered points, as we all know, by the Chiefs, Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce doing their thing. And then we saw the Chiefs beat Tennessee. Were very game for a lot of the first half, but they just didn't have the horses to keep up with Kansas City. So Kansas City goes to Super Bowl that way. And they keep the Lamar Hunt Trophy at its original home in Kansas City, Missouri. I
have some Super Bowl prop bets here for the broadcast, for the halftime, and for the commercials.
All right.
we'll
What do we
do
got?
some fun ones because the normal ones are boring.
Mm-hmm.
Like
What do
how
we got?
many yards? So, will the broadcast show a clip or a picture of Joe Montana playing for the Chiefs?
I'm going to say yes.
Yes, it's plus 150. No, it's minus 200.
They have to. He played for both teams. They have to do that.
Will Joe Buck mention his father, Jack Buck?
This one's interesting. As I know they talked about it, Jim Nantz did talk about it as the Chiefs were winning the AFC title, how Jack Buck called Super Bowl I with the Chiefs, and now 50 plus years later, his son Joe is going to call Super Bowl 54 with the Chiefs. It might have been 4 and 54, but he definitely did call an early Super Bowl Kansas City was involved in, and then his son's now going to call this one with the Chiefs in it. So so I would imagine, I don't know, I don't think he'll mention his father, but I do think his father, I think Aikman or somebody else is going to mention him. I don't think it'll be Joe.
Okay.
So I'm going to say no to that.
So minus 300, no, plus 200, yes. Will the Super Bowl broadcast mention that the Super Bowl is on Groundhog Day? Yes, plus 300, no, minus 500.
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yeah. I think
Yes,
that'll be
plus 300.
I'm going to say yes.
Which ex-49ers player will be mentioned first on the broadcast? Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, or Steve Young?
Montana. I'm going Montana.
Minus 150.
Okay.
Plus 140 for Jerry Rice. Steve Young, 40 plus 400. Will a John 3:16 banner or sign be shown?
John 3:16.
Or an Austin?
We're talking Miami. Austin's possible considering SmackDown is on Fox as well, and obviously they did WWE backstage in Miami at the Super Bowl set. I'm going to say yes to John 3:16 sign.
That's at plus 300, minus 500 now. Will the broadcast mention Alex Smith?
They have to. He's an integral part of how this went down with Kansas City. Absolutely, I think they do.
And the 49ers.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, Alex Smith playing for both teams. Yeah, absolutely. They're going to have to mention that.
Plus 300, yes. Minus 500, no. Will the broadcast mention Steve Bono?
Okay, now this one's interesting. I don't see Aikman and Buck being that kind of. They're not really pop culture-y with some of their commentary. They mention stuff, but they're not like over the top with it. They probably do, but they're not like over the top with their pop culture stuff. But I think they'll mention them, yes.
Who's Steve Bono again?
Steve Bono is a former football quarterback in the NFL. I believe he was a quarterback. Was he the quarterback for the Chiefs when the Chiefs won the? No, he couldn't have been. He did play for the Chiefs. He did play for the Chiefs in his career. He's a Super Bowl champion. He won the Super Bowl 24 with the Niners. So he was a backup for the Niners, Super Bowl 24. So he played for both teams as well. I'm gonna say no to him. I'm gonna say no to Steve Bono.
Will Darrelle Revis tweet about Richard Sherman during the game?
Okay, so let's do the backstory on this. Darrelle Revis.
Yes or no? I'm going yes.
Okay, Revis. I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna say yeah too. So Revis, the backstory on this is that Revis is mad that Richard Sherman gets all this love and attention, and he's claiming that Sherman only really covers one side of the field, which is mostly true. That Sherman's basically covered one side of the field in his career, but is locked down. Revis, on the other hand, has been pretty much a guy to lock down one particular receiver. And Revis jumped to this defense on Twitter. Sherman clapped back because he knew it was coming. Sherman clapped back and saying, but I'm going to the Super Bowl and you're going to your couch or something. And like he clapped back saying like I'm going to the Super Bowl and this and that. And he tried to be respectful, not Tyreek Hill level of respectful, but he tried to be respectful of Darrelle Revis. But yeah, he was Darrelle Revis was pretty salty on Twitter about Richard Sherman.
Yeah,
and the love he gets.
Tweeting about Richard Sherman during the game.
He's got to, especially if Sherman gets cooked by Tyreek Hill or Nicole Hardman or one of the Chiefs receivers. He's got to.
Will Kiara Mia tweet about Jimmy G during the game? Yes.
Kiara Mia was I believe she was the porn star, who dated Jimmy
the porn
G.
star.
Well, who pretty much, that's where Jimmy G got his kind of like national buzz, I guess, before the season started. That those two were dating. They were an item. She had some very positive comments about Jimmy G's skills off the football field, if you catch the drift. And kind of people didn't take it and run, but it's apparently known. She put it out there. And Jimmy G is pretty productive off the football field, if you catch the drift there. She'll probably say something on the social medias as well.
With the sexual energy.
Yes. Yep. That's pretty much it.
I'm afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to say it.
Nope. She was. Jimmy G was very apparently productive in the bedroom. That's what we're saying here.
We're not a PG show, Mike.
Yep. Good point. You're right. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Yeah, that's right.
I put the explicit tag on the show.
Oh, fair. All right, fair game. Jimmy G apparently knows what he's doing off the football field in the bedroom. Is what we're saying here. So,
how's that a fuck?
Basically meaning that he made her tap out. He basically made her tap out. Is what we're saying here. That's what apparently she was claiming Jimmy G did.
Will Tom Brady be mentioned on the broadcast?
After that cryptic tweet, he has to be.
What cryptic
tweet? Okay, so the tweet that you may not have seen was Tom Brady basically showing a silhouette of himself, kind of looking out. It's unclear. It looks like he's going towards Gillette Stadium's field, but it's him, and it's like a black silhouette of him, so that you can tell it's him because he put it out there. But it's
where's
like
this
him
tweet?
He sent it out like 5 hours ago. No, it's still up. It's still up. People took it and ran. So Brady is basically it's Brady kind of like a silhouette of him looking at Gillette Stadium's field, and he's like it's a picture of him, but you can't you would know if it's him if he didn't send it, and that's all it is. There's no words. It's just a picture. It's just a simple picture. And it's got Patriots fans shook. Yeah, okay, he's looking at the tweet now. It's got Patriots fans shook.
Oh shit, he's retiring.
Yeah, you see it? Yeah, you see it? Like he's looking at it now. It's like it's got some Patriots fans kind of shook. It prompted Jamal Adams to cry back like, please get out of the AFC East. Is what?
He's wearing normal clothes too.
Yes, he is. He looks like he's wearing a suit. You can tell. It looks like he's walking. It looks like he's walking towards. His hands are in his pockets, so you can't even tell. But it looks like he's walking towards away from the field. That's the point. That's the point I'm saying. That's the point. It's got Patriots fans kind of shook. It's got Pats fans kind of shook. Jamal Adams basically say, like, "Oh, that's his way of getting out of the AFC East," or that was his clapback. And like people were like.
I bought the CD at Starbucks the other day.
There's a whole lot of people that are just shook, that are absolutely shook on Twitter responding. somebody had to look at Troy Aikman's reaction to Jimmy Johnson's Hall of Fame. I'm just reading the responses to this. There's a whole lot of people on page.
SNF on NBT, away towards the field or away from the field?
It looks like he's going away from the field. It looks like he's walking away from it. It legitimately looks like he's walking away from the field.
52% said it's towards the field. 47% says away from the field.
I think it's away. I really think it's away from the field. This might be it. This might be it. This might be the end. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Teddy Bruschi saying, Dan Heron, is this one of those mind games where we analyze it if you're walking towards or away from us? Somebody responded Chargers Stadium. It's not that serious. No, I don't think I think he could go to the Chargers. I can see that. Now that Phillip Rivers is not coming back to the Chargers, and I think
somebody said Pats fans.
Pats fans are shook. The Ringer saying no.
Hold on a minute, player.
Yep. Every Pats, there's a whole lot of memes of Pats fans. Pats fans are absolutely shook by this. Absolutely shook.
Their franchise is going to shit. Woohoo!
Yep. This really could be the end. Did Ryan Fitzpatrick all but end? Because let's face it, I'm not sure if New England's not in this game if it weren't for Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing a TD to Mike Gesicki.
Ryan.
I'm not sure.
Thank you, Miami Dolphins. Thank you, Beast Mike.
I'm not sure if they're not in this game if it weren't for Ryan Fitzpatrick. So this makes me very happy that we're probably responsible for the end of New England's run. Yes, I take with great pride. New England, we did this to you.
Will they show highlights of Donovan McNabb throwing up?
I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say yes.
No. I'm going to say no to that.
I'm going to do the plus 800.
Are they going to mention Super Bowl 39? Absolutely. Are they going to show Donovan McNabb barfing in Jacksonville? I'm going to say no. If the Super Bowl were in Jacksonville, oh yeah, he's going to show him barfing. But I think since it's in Miami, not Jacksonville, I'm going to say no, they don't show him.
Will Joe Buck or Troy Aikman speak Spanish?
No, I don't think either are about their life. I don't think either are that kind of hip or trendy.
He's doing the Shakira performance. Shakira.
I'm going to say no to both of them. I hope Shakira and J-Lo's performance is going to be entertaining. I know there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on the set for Shakira and J-Lo doing their thing. But I'm going to say no. They don't show the Joe or Troy don't speak Spanish.
Who will the Super Bowl MVP thank first after winning the award? Teammates, God or religion, coaches, winning city, family, or owner?
I'm going to go God. I think the MVP will thank God first.
Will either Jennifer Lopez or Shakira first address the audience in Spanish?
First. I think not first, but they will. So my answer will technically be no.
Okay. Which Jennifer Lopez song will be performed first?
Ooh, that's a good one. Obviously, it's going to be something upbeat and something that they'll.
I think it's going to be Jenny from the Block. I'm going to go Jenny from the Block, plus 500.
Okay. What are the other options here?
Let's get loud. Let's get loud. Let's get loud. Live it up. On the floor. Dinero. El Anillo. Waiting for the night. Waiting for the night.
That's probably my pick. Waiting for Tonight makes some sense. Or let's get loud and Waiting for the Night. I'm down to those two. I'll probably go Waiting for Tonight.
My Shakira song is not even on here.
Okay.
It's Hips Don't Lie.
That would make the most sense. That would absolutely make that was their biggest hit. That would make the most sense.
What song will close out the halftime show? Let's Get Loud, Live It Up, Whenever, Wherever. That's going to close it, Whenever, Wherever.
It's that or Live It Up. It's going to be one of those two.
Will Miami by Will Smith be performed as a cover?
That's interesting. That would make a lot of sense.
I say no.
I'm going to say no too, but that would make a lot of sense to do it.
Will a football be used as a prop? No.
I'm going to say yes to that.
Will Alex Rodriguez be shown during the halftime show?
Will who be on the halftime show?
Will Alex Rodriguez be shown? Like in the audience?
No. I'm going to say no. I think J-Lo's a big enough star, but she won't need the extra attention from her husband.
DJ Khaled make an appearance.
Now, technically he does, but he'll do it because they're doing something before the game. DJ Khaled, Meek, a bunch of other performers, Pitbull as well. They're going to do a performance before the game. So technically they will do something, but not at the halftime show. I'm going to say no to that.
Will
part.
either singer drink Pepsi?
Ooh, good question. I'm going to say not. We're talking during the show, right? So I'm going to say no during the show.
When no singer will drink Pepsi.
Not during the show.
Drink Enrique Iglesias make an appearance on stage.
I'm almost counting on him too.
I'm almost counting on it. Yeah.
Like he's the only Hispanic person that hasn't been mentioned for anything. I'm almost counting on him to do something. I mentioned Pitbull. Pitbull's going to do something before the game.
Will Gerard Peak be shown during the halftime show?
I will say yes to that.
I'll say yes to that too. Will reliable Super Bowl halftime performer Gloria Estefan make an appearance on the stage? I'm banking on it.
That could be done considering it's Miami too. I think that should be happening.
Will Jay-Z be shown during the halftime show?
Because Jay-Z put this together, so I'd imagine. Ooh. Jay-Z did put this together. Jay-Z is in charge of this halftime show, so I could see Jay being involved in some way. Yes.
Yes. Will Ricky Martin make an appearance on stage? Yes. I'm almost counting on it too.
I think it's more likely Iglesias is on than Ricky Martin, but I'm almost counting on Ricky Martin to jump in on this.
Will Pitbull make an appearance?
I'm disappointed Pitbull wasn't initially on this. Now Pitbull's going to be, as I mentioned, on the pregame stuff. But
I'm still gonna say yes.
I think Mr. Worldwide will be there. I think Mr. Worldwide will be there too.
Will Will Smith make an appearance on stage?
It would make sense considering Bad Boys 3 is coming out soon, but I'm going to say no.
I'm gonna say no too.
The only way he shows up is to do Welcome to Miami. But I'm gonna say no to that.
Will Jennifer Lopez and Shakira both sing in Spanish?
Yes.
Yes. Will there be a nipplegate?
I'm gonna say no.
No.
As much as like a lot of the male population and maybe some of the female population, it's 2020 after all, is going to we'll love to see that happen. I'm going to say no. I think they'll keep it PG.
Your pick for Super Bowl.
I've been struggling with this over the last 10 days of who my Super Bowl pick was going to be for this game.
It's at -1 now.
It's been pretty much hovering around that pretty much all week.
1.5.
Now, the way I'm going to do this, it's been, okay, quarterback is Kansas City. Running back, I'm going to go with the Niners depth. Receiver depth, I'm going to do the tight ends separately. Receiver depth is obviously Kansas City. Tight ends, I think, are as even as it gets. I think these are the two best tight ends in the game between Kittle and Kelsey. I'll go Kittle because Kittle's more of a all-around, well-rounded. Offensive lines, both are productive. I'll
go San Francisco.
I'll probably go Niners too. I'll probably go Niners there. D-line, I'm going to D-line's tough because the Niners have so much depth. I'm going to go Niners on the D-line. I'll go Niners in the linebacking core too. I will go Niners secondary as well. So Niners sweep the defense. And then let's see. Kicking game, I will go Chiefs after field goal kicking. Punting game, I will probably go. Actually, the kicking game, I'm sorry. I'm going to go Niners in the kicking game. I will go.
Punting, go Chiefs.
Punting is going to go Chiefs. Return game is going to be Chiefs as well. And then coaching, I will go Chiefs. Ooh, all this in play. Normally, when it comes to best offense,
I'm going 49ers. I'm going 49ers over.
I don't think the Niners can get to a shootout. I mean, I guess the Niners went to New Orleans and they beat New Orleans in a shootout, so that they're capable. They can get into a shootout. I'm gonna go Chiefs. This is hard. This Super Bowl is hard to pick.
My mind is thinking 49ers. My heart's thinking Chiefs.
And
Because
a lot of people, I get it. A lot of people in Philadelphia are saying it's time for Andy to get one. I know Angelo Cataldi's not, but I think a lot of people are saying it's time for Andy to get one.
who's not thinking that way?
WIP did a whole day, Andy Reid Appreciation Day, and I think they're still doing it. They did Andy Reid Appreciation Day, and the first show, obviously, on every day is Angelo Cataldi's. Cataldi's been anti-Andy Reid pretty much since Super Bowl 39, and how how badly he mismanaged that.
What a whiner! What a whiner,
Angelo. He's been anti-Reid ever since.
Yes.
He's been anti-Reid ever since, and has been kind of pinning the whole domestic abuse situations that he's the people who've been involved off the field with off-the-field drama, Fred Clark, Tyreek Hill, who have been in off-the-field drama and kind of using that as a crutch as well. With his beef towards Andy Reid. His show was the only one to really not celebrate Andy Reid and kind of give him the props he deserves as the most consistently good Eagles coach they've ever had. And I think it's time for Reid to get one. I think, honestly, in a shootout, the way Kansas City's played these playoffs, where they've been not unstoppable since they started, I'm going to go Chiefs. It's going to be a good game. I think it'll be played at Kansas City's pace. I'm going to go 34-28 Kansas City. Yeah. My non-QB MVP, since picking Pat Mahomes, think it'd be way too easy. My non-QB MVP is Travis Kelce.
My MVP is going to be Kittle.
Okay.
So we have tight ends as MVPs.
Yes.
Twitter.com/DJDCooks
is where you can find him. Is Twitter.com/BeastMike is where you can find me. Obviously, I'll be tweeting about the Super Bowl and all the good stuff that's going to involve that. And we're going to talk about the commercials, I'm sure. All right, what company has the best commercials? What company? Who you got for the best commercials?
Probably Budweiser.
Well, usually the go-tos are Budweiser and/or the Frito-Lay Corporation. Usually those are the two go-to companies.
Budweiser already released their commercial.
I didn't see Budweiser. I'm trying to stay away from Super Bowl commercials. I'd rather see them as they happen. They've been pretty lackluster the last couple years, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't really watch for the commercials. I watch for the game.
Right. They've been pretty lackluster the last couple years, to tell the truth. I hope they come up with some good ones I hope the companies come up with good ones this year. I'm not sure how much I'm sure they're gonna cost a cool $1.5 million for the 30-second spots. Something like that. That's pretty much that's what the going rate's been the last couple of years is $1 million plus.
How much? I'm gonna say how much for a Super Bowl.
It's 30-second Super Bowl spot. It's probably what you're looking for.
$4.5 million.
Woo!
The cost had reached $5.6 million in 2020.
For a 30-second spot, we're talking 4.5. NFL making serious cake. So we're talking, okay, that's probably a good, let's say 40 ads. That's probably a good 40.
No, it's 5.6 this year.
Oh, 5.6. Oh, it's 5.6 million.
Yep.
Okay, so 5.6 million. And I'll say by good, let's say 45 to 50. We'll say 50 ads. $280 million. That's $280 million. The NFL, if they run 50 ads, that's $280 million NFL is going to make based off that alone.
Plus the gate.
Right? Plus the TV, plus the money they'll get from TV, from the 110 million people that are going to watch this game worldwide. The NFL's going to make a serious killing off this game.
Yes.
So we're probably talking a good $500,000 the NFL's probably going to make off this game. I'm going to say a cool $500,000. At least a cool $500,000.
$500 million.
$500 million, I should say. A cool $500 million, I should say. They go make off this game.
Yes.
A cool $500 million. Okay, I guess another prop bet I'll just kind of subliminally add here before we sign off. How early in the game are we until we see a bad call? Are we going first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, or fourth? The first bad call of the game.
First quarter. First quarter.
I'll give it the second quarter. But I understand why you'd say the first. I'm almost expecting a bad call to be early. But I think it'll be the second quarter.
Yeah.
So I'll go second quarter.
But I say 49ers, he says Chiefs.
Yep.
For next week, I am DJ D Kooks, he's Beast Mike. And we'll take it home, baby.